people need to recognize the significance and the importance of paying people for strategy.
If you are specialized in website design or graphic design, don't be trying to give strategy to people and you don't even know what that is.
I built an entire business because there were so many small business owners who had been hurt, burned, disappointed, felt like they had been scammed by other marketers because they went to them with an assumption of what they needed and the folks just did it and it didn't work.
You just need to know where you're going with your business.
I understand like this desire to be an entrepreneur because it looked very sexy, but it ain't.
We the marketers. Marketing and entrepreneurship work together, but you need to know what you're doing.
Period. What is good?
Hello.
Good people. We are back. Listen, it's the consistency. It is the consistency for me. Four. Wow. We are happy to be back here. This is another episode of A Marketing Podcast. I am Kayla.
And I'm Angelina.
And today we are going to talk about what we call discovery calls. So for all of the marketing folks out there, whether you have your own business or you are working within a team, one of the questions that always comes up when it comes to starting a project is figuring out how do you get the information you need from these potential clients. And I think for us at our company, part of that is like our secret sauce. Like we know how to get the information from clients. We had a conversation with another agency today, and one of the things they asked us about was like, how do we go about getting information from clients? And so I think there is an art to it. And so I thought it was important to talk about today. One of the common complaints that I know I hear often is that people don't know, or that clients don't know what they want. Is that something that you've ever heard or ever experienced in school? Like clients don't know what they want?
So definitely in college, we always train us for the real world and the workforce. So we have to work in like projects and group stuff all the time. So it's always, and I see it. And also, let me backtrack. We've dealt with that internally here at Donji Media, us piggybacking off ideas off of each other, and within Donji Media and within class, inside the classroom with projects and everything, it's always the giver and the receiver. And I feel like the marketers or the client or the business person, it doesn't really matter who the giver or the receiver is. The receiver is just the listener, and the giver, I feel like, is the one with the vision. And the one with the vision needs to know how to articulate, because I feel like God just gives everybody different visions, and everybody's not meant to see your vision. So you have to know how to articulate your words to give the picture of what's going on in your mind. And the receiver needs to know how to listen and know how to ask the right questions, even if the giver, the visionary, isn't able to articulate what they're trying to get down to. And the receiver, the listener / asking the questions, needs to get to the giver, to the core of what are you trying to give out, even though you can't articulate it well. So knowing how to ask the right questions and being an active listener, I feel like is great. So yeah, that would be answering your question to what you had. And internally with us, like us having all different visions and ideas, us bouncing off of each other and listening to each one another and giving each other opinions on certain things. I think that's how we get through it.
So today we are going to talk about, it's really kind of twofold. You have for people who are in the position of maybe owning your own business, or you hoping to own your own marketing company, or you do something creative in general where you are having to talk directly to clients. And this could also work for people who are working internally as well. But the two parts are, one, talking to potential clients about what it is they think they need, right? So we're talking marketing services. They may come to you saying they need social media. They think they need website. There's a conversation you have at that point where you're able to kind of suss out what they actually need. And then there's the conversation you have, we consider it the kickoff call internally, about how do you go about getting the information you need from them once you determine what service you're offering. How do you go about getting the information you need from them? And so with the first part, in terms of like identifying what it is a client actually needs based on the conversation you have, at the beginning, I thought it would be good to kind of do a role play. So because social media is the realm that you work in within our company, I felt like if we were going to have a scenario, it would make sense that they would come saying that they need social media. Because obviously how your understanding or your context for the work that you would possibly be doing is what guides, the questions you ask to the particular prospective clients. Like, what it is, you do and how it works. So you know how to kind of form the questions when talking to them. So I wanted to do it in a role play situation. And so I asked Angelina to pull together a list of questions for a client who came to us and said that, they owned a hair care company and that they were looking for help for social media. And so we're going to go through it as a role play. I am going to be said client, and she's going to ask me questions, and we're just kind of going to go back and forth, and then we'll see what comes of it.
Okay.
So, you ready?
Action. All right, let's go. So are we in person or are we virtual or?
We virtually on a Zoom call. That's
okay,
how most things happen now.
Okay. Okay, so boom. Recording has restarted, and then
oh my God, not the recording has restarted.
So
thank you so much for taking my call. I'm sorry I'm late.
It's okay, but the first thing before we dive in, how are you doing today?
Girl, I'm tired.
You tired?
I'm tired. I'm so tired. Listen, I'm sick of this marketing stuff. I can't do it.
What are you struggling with? Like, why are you?
Everything. I'm just not good at it. Like, I know we supposed to be on social media, and like I be trying sometimes, but I just don't be knowing what to post, and it just ain't my thing.
Yeah.
Like,
so I see that you filled out kind of the service questions that I asked on the beforehand. It's like a prerequisite too, so I can get another little feel of how your business, your hair business is going. Can you like tell me a little bit more about your hair company and what you're trying to achieve?
Yeah.
Goals and stuff.
Yeah. So my hair care company is called Blue Magic, and we provide a whole lot of hair care products. And it's really birthed out of, because like back in the day when you used to get your hair done, you might have to go to the hair salon and be there all day. And so back then we used to use certain products that was just like tried and true. And then like as the natural hair care trend came, like people don't want to use them products no more. Like the hair grease and stuff like that. And like, I feel like we in a point now where people like this new stuff we've been trying really don't work. So we need to get back to our roots. So that's really what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm really like bringing back the hair oils and the greasing of your scalp and the leave-in conditioners and the moisturizers and stuff like that. And so I feel like it's really like for like millennials, like some of them who probably have kids who like trying to get their kids' hair growing out, right? Like that's really what it's for. And so like that's what I'm trying to do.
So did you name your hair company after the Blue Magic?
Yeah, but it's spelled different. Mm-hmm.
How is it spelled?
It's spelled BLEW MAJIK. But it's like giving homage, you know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, so is this an actual product or this is just?
Yeah, it's a bunch of products. It's hair oil, it's scalp conditioner, which is like grease, it's shampoo, it's like leave-in conditioner, it's like wash-out conditioner. Yeah, it's a whole line.
Okay, so do you actually do hair, or you just, because like it would be ideal if you were a hairstylist promoting these products, or you're just a reseller, like selling these products?
No, I don't do hair. Okay. It's more so for like, cause I was just, I was at home like mixing together stuff, or like mixing together some of my old products. And like, I realized that even though they was old and they really worked, they still had some stuff in them that, you know what I'm saying, we didn't necessarily need. So like, I just kind of reimagined, if you will, some of the old stuff, like pulling out the good from them, but like leaving the bad.
All right. So what content do you do, and what socials have been best used for you?
So I ain't really been posting at all on social media. Like I really want help with LinkedIn though. Like I feel like that's what I need to be focusing on, because that's what people be telling me I need to do, because like I'm a business owner. And so
right.
That's what I'm really thinking about, like LinkedIn.
I think LinkedIn is really good, especially to that B2B. if you could sell to other hairstylists and they can sell within their company, that would be ideal. And you like reaching out to other influencers that will use your product as well, I feel like that would be great. So share what type of content. You said you want to go directly towards LinkedIn, but share what type of content that you posted on LinkedIn or with your other socials.
I haven't really posted anything. So I don't.
You have. I know you say you're not, cause like you literally have not posted anything.
No, not on none of my business pages. Cause I really don't know what to post at all. But like what you were saying about like selling to businesses, like that makes sense. But like I don't really want to go that route. Cause I'm thinking more so for like the folks who do their hair at home, like your mama do your hair, your grandmama do your hair. Like, cause it's real nostalgic. So like, I don't really want to go. I want to sell to the moms and like the families directly.
Okay, so with LinkedIn, it is more corporate. So where you're looking to have more of a conversational tone within your brand.
I don't really know. Like, I don't know. I'm just, they told me that I needed to focus on LinkedIn. So that's what
Who told you? Who is they?
The people, the business people, because they was like, it's not a lot of folks on there. Like, people sleep on LinkedIn. So like, it's everybody on TikTok and Instagram. And so like, I mean, you could go over there, but like, you just gonna get lost. So they was like, LinkedIn is really where it's at. So I'm like, well, then that's just what I need to do.
I do think LinkedIn could be good for you, but I also think you should leverage out to Instagram since you want to have more stay-at-home moms, Instagram and or Facebook, if you want to have more stay-at-home moms and that type of audience. Because I feel like it's more a corporate world on LinkedIn. So with LinkedIn, you want to give that professional, like you would like sell your products. Like if you wanted to say, I feel like LinkedIn would be great because hairstylists will be on LinkedIn rather than the customers, that you want to buy. So if you could do a brand deal with like the owners of like salons and things so they could resell your products and or have, since you said like you was talking about TikTok and stuff, Instagram and TikTok, you could have like I was saying, affiliate influencers that promote your products as well. So what resources do you have available for content creation? Are you by yourself? Do you have a team? So tell me about that.
No, it's just me.
It's just you. Okay. So it sounds like you don't have a lot going on as far as your business. So how long have you had your products?
Well, like we had got the logo done about 3 months ago. Like I've had the idea for like years and I've been mixing up stuff and like making stuff for years, but like probably about maybe 8 months ago, we had got a little bit of money and we was like, well, we need to just make this thing real. So we did the logo and the packaging and stuff like that. So we been selling it, you know what I'm saying, to like families and friends and stuff, but now we trying to like make it big. So that's why I was like, I need to come to somebody for marketing.
So are you bootstrapping or are you like, where are you getting your money from? Because this will also help with like the strategy part as well.
The money for what, like the products?
Yes, and for your company. Like, are you wanting to do it from a website or are you doing it out of a store? Like, what are you doing?
Right now, we just kind of like, people know I have them. So like, they might text me or like message me on like my personal Facebook. But we probably should sell online, but we don't have that set up or nothing.
All right. Are you looking forward to having a website?
Probably, yeah, that's probably in the plan.
Okay. So what is from the core of it, because I see everything as in marketing is like onion. You're peeling back the layers of what is your target audience, what is the brand awareness, or what type of content creation you want to, content platforms, content creation you want to do, and things like that. And you're laying it back, but at the core of that onion, you need to know your why. So what is your reason of having these hair products and doing things like that? Like, what is your main focus that you want, your objective and your goal?
Well, I just feel like things were so much better back in the day. Like how we used to get our, like do our hair and get our hair done. Like I feel like we just moved too far away from that. And like the community and the relationship building it. Like, yeah, like we didn't really like sitting in the hair salon for 8 hours, but like you got to talk to folks, you got to hit a tea, like, you know what I'm saying? We got to connect because nowadays, you know what I'm saying? You book a salon suite, it's just you and the girl if she show up. And she might be on her phone or whatever. Like it's just not the same. Plus I feel like everybody hair, like, toe up. And so it's like, well, what changed? And I feel like that is what changed. So for me, it's like, how do we get back to that? And I feel like these types of products that like you can use for yourself that ain't hype over complicated. You ain't got to do no lock method or nothing like that. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just the normal like stuff that always work. Like being able to do that for yourself at home. Like I said, have your mama do your hair, have your mama grease your scalp. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be putting edge control all down your braids and stuff like, you know what I'm saying? Just going back to like the common sense stuff that work. And so like if we start there, I feel like it's like giving, cause like like my hair relaxed, right? And just yesterday, I was giving a presentation. At the end, it was about something totally different. And this girl came up to me. She was like, how you get your hair so straight? Like, is it a silk press? Is it relaxed? And I was like, it's relaxed. And she was like, man, I've been thinking about relaxing my hair. Like, I think I'm going to do it. But it's just like, I feel like everybody really want to get back to that time. They just too scared because like the trend became natural hair. It was natural hair police. And not saying that you got to go back to a relaxer, but I'm just saying like all of the stuff that used to be tried and true that everybody moved away from because they was, you know, following the trend. I feel like this is a good step to get everybody permission to be like, bro, just go back to what worked for your hair. You feel me?
So it sounded like you want people to be more on the natural side and bring out their natural beauty is what you're saying?
Well, and not natural in the sense of like relaxed versus natural, but like your real hair, like taking care of your real hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. So what does your products bring or that's different from everybody else? Like, is it promoting growth or is it stimulating a healthy scalp? I'm still confused on what your products are bringing to the table that's different from the competitors and how is like the pricing range and everything else.
So it's like, it's not, it ain't even gimmicky like that. It is like just maintenance, like maintaining, because our hair is naturally healthy, whether you relax it or not. Like it is fine. It be the stuff we do to it that tear it up.
Question. So your target audience is Black young females, or what would you say your target audience is?
I can say I really feel like it's millennials because I feel like they got the context for like what I'm talking about. But it could be moms, it could be dads, because I'm thinking about the folks who do hair at home. So, you know, like a lot of men got hair now too. When I think about like my folks used to have this product, I forgot what it was called. It was like Afro something, but it was like a spray that you use to help moisturize and detangle your hair, like a leave-in conditioner. Okay. My mom used it and my dad used it. So it could be for families, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's what I'm saying. It's like not gimmicky. It's not it's gonna grow your hair overnight or it's gonna fix this. It's just like, no, like if you want to maintain what grow out of your scalp, whatever you do to it, like this is the everyday kind of maintenance stuff that you can do to keep it like healthy.
All right. I know you say you want your platform for LinkedIn, but I do believe Instagram and Facebook will be your ideal platforms for you. And eventually when you grow, that can be leveraged to LinkedIn. But the audience that you're saying is not given LinkedIn audience. It's given you're talking about at home, domestic, family friendly, things like that. Mom doing daughter's hair, things like that. So that will be within a community, which will be on Facebook and Instagram. And continue telling me about the background of your product of what. Okay, I understand that you're saying you want to go back to where people are doing their hair at home is natural, things like that. But still tell me how it differentiates from other products.
Well, the other thing too is like the stuff is simple. Like it's
like,
not,
is it natural products or like what are the ingredients?
So like it's not. So you know how like some shampoos are like sulfate free. It's not sulfate free because sulfates is what help clean your hair. Like when I say go back to like the stuff that work, I feel like they demonized all of some of the chemicals that was in the stuff we used and then pulled them out, and then people been using products and their hair ain't been right. So it's not gimmicky at all. To be the thing is like we just getting back to what works. Like we gonna stop like buying into like the lies. But it's also simple. So like you can wash your hair with the shampoo, condition it, and then put the leave-in in and go on about your business. Like you don't have to wet it and then put in a cream and then put in a gel and then put, you know, you don't have to do all that. It's very simple. It's easy to use, and it works. Then there's a leave-in conditioner spray that you can use during the week to moisturize it so you can detangle it, and that's it. Like it's not rocket science.
Okay. This is good. So now that we've gathered all that information, moving forward, I'm gonna give you a little step process that we need to do. So we're gonna make a content calendar for you, and with that content calendar, we are going to since your main reason is getting back to that authenticity, going like back home, easy step process. We're gonna think of that being your why as the branch, and we're thinking like of a big tree. So just imagine a big tree in your mind. So that is your why. So in one word, describe your company. What would you say?
I'd probably say nostalgic.
Nostalgic. That's great. So nostalgic is the tree trunk, or the main tree. That's what the tree trunk. And so then we're going to have all the branches. On all the branches, we're going to have content pillars. And it is good because that's how we're going to break up your content. So in the content pillars, so in the branch or the tree trunk being nostalgic, we're gonna have 3 content pillars. So we're gonna have like 3 different branches, and we're gonna break those up into different. So what would you say that you're trying to reach? Are you trying to reach brand awareness? Are you trying to if we make you a website, are you trying to have website traffic, or are you trying to give a better reach to an audience? Like, what is your goal that you're trying to do?
I'm really trying to build a movement. So like, obviously people need to be aware of the brand, and then like we're trying to sell the products too.
Okay, so we're gonna do creativity or self-care for the hair, so natural. So we'll make that a pillar. And for another pillar, we could have family friendly, and then we could have another pillar for that. And then we could have another pillar as in product awareness or something like that. So that's off the top of my head, but we could do something different. But okay, just think of those 3 pillars. And with that, we will have content breakdown for each pillar. So for family friendly, you can have content such as, partner with people at home, you using the product, having them have your family or friends use your product that you said that you've already sold to, get their reviews and things, have them actually record themselves, using the product, sending that back to you, for having, getting the products and bringing that more out there. For one of those pillars, you can still do things like we were talking about, connecting, having an affiliate influencer where they use your products as well, or somebody that has a good social media presence, and we can help you look for that as well, and getting them to use your products and post on those and then tag you, and you can also use that and like do things like that for the different content pillars as well. And so we're gonna have a big content calendar. So say we post like 5 days a week, and then we're gonna break it down into like say Monday through Friday, and then you're gonna have Monday, Wednesday posting one of the content pillars, Tuesdays, Thursdays post another one, on Fridays you post one of the other content pillars. And with all this being done, one of the things that you would need to do, you would have to you can either batch create or not. So with batch creating, I feel like it's really ideal because when you batch create, you could go ahead, because you sound like you're really busy. You have a busy week. Yes. So we could do all that into one. So you would just have to, do you have assistant? You said it's just you? It's just you. So you take one day to, because we will already have the steps of the content pillars and the content that needs to be done. And you would just go record all the different content that we need from you. And then you would just, if you wanted us, would you want us to edit, or would you like to edit?
I can't edit.
Okay, so you would just get all that content from your clients, if you have like influencers that you're working with, and yourself, and you would just give all that back to us once you're done recording. And so after you dedicate a week or a day to batch creating, then we'll plan on to the next week, and then we will then distribute between what post is on what day. And it's just an endless cycle of getting that momentum. And it's just always measuring your results. Do you ever, like, what has worked for you in the past?
I don't really know, because I just be posting sometimes. I don't really be like thinking about it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give a story time. So it's very good to measure results, because I'm bringing up fitness because I need to get back in the gym and I've been slacking. But so I had a personal trainer, and she was virtual. And with this virtual personal trainer, I ain't gonna lie, I thought just because I don't have somebody in my ear, it's not gonna be that bad. But she had me checking in with her every week, and it was through an app. So I had to check in with her. I had to count my calories. I had a food scale. I had to weigh my food on. I had, it was like different days of the week where I do my workouts or whatever. And she had like little videos and everything. And so I would have to send the before and after of each week to see my progress. I had to, measure my body. It was a lot. I had to measure my body measurements and everything.
That's too much.
And I'm like, but listen, I was like, this is OD. This is OD. But then when you get to it, it's like, but it's a mental thing when it comes to working out, because you could be working out a month, you don't see a change, but it doesn't mean a change not happen. Me measuring and sending in those results, she was creating consistency within what I was doing. Also, she was creating helping me measure my results, because just because I couldn't see it, you could see the little centimeter or the little changes when you do your body measurements. And I had to also like calculate like how much water I drink and all this stuff. And at first I was like, oh, this is too much, but everything is hard until you make it easy. So you measuring your results, and I relate this back to marketing, is because first, because I did that through the summer, and now school started, and I have not got, like, I was gaining a pound every week because I was trying to gain weight and everything. So like measuring your results and seeing what works for you is really ideal, and that's what you should do with your business and with marketing. So that's what we're gonna do in measuring results and with this content calendar, and getting the analytics back and everything. So we're just gonna see how this works, and we're gonna do daily check-in call or weekly check-in calls to see how you're doing, do you like the content, and we're gonna start with that by next week. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that should be fine. I mean, okay. I'ma just need like a breakdown of like how it's gonna work. But yeah, that's fine.
Okay, a breakdown of how it's gonna work. Like, elaborate on what you mean by how it's gonna work.
Like, if you send me something that like tell me like what y'all gonna be doing, like specifically.
Yeah, so with your feedback, I have a little AI note taker that's listening to everything. I'm gonna go back to the answers that I sent you of the questionnaires through the Google form, and I'm gonna take that what you had today, also this, and like I said, I'm gonna create a content calendar. I'm gonna send that content calendar to you so you could get your the content that you need to get, and we could have a shared Google Drive where you will upload the content to me as well. Was there anything else that you had any questions about?
I don't think so.
Alrighty. Well, we can schedule that for next week so we could get your business up and going.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Alrighty. You have a good one.
Bye, Zoom. In the AI note taker. I'm so weak. Why you had to...
What?
So we do have AI note takers.
Well, let's first ask, what type of client was you? Because I wouldn't want a client like that. You had a lot going on.
That's how it be sometimes.
You had a lot going on.
That's how it be sometimes.
But we gonna
say more. Like what was you?
We gonna get what is it? Blue Magic. We gonna get Blue Magic up.
And I didn't even think about it. I don't know if my eye looks blue right now. They were selling me my eye look blue earlier.
I was just thinking that, y'all. I don't know if y'all can see, but Kayla's
does it still look blue?
Yes.
Well,
looking at camera, does Kayla's eye look blue to y'all?
Y'all, let me know. But
on Blue Magic.
I was about to say about Blue Magic.
That's gonna help with the advertising.
Right.
Hopefully you ain't getting none in your eye.
Period. But yeah, like overall, so one, it don't sound like a client you would have necessarily wanted to work with.
I would not.
Why not?
She just didn't have any like structure. I understand helping, but I would want a client to already have a process and plan. Like, she didn't have any vision of what, and then you want to work, because it's not all about the marketer or the business, because it's a team with you and your client. Like, yes, you help your client go, but I gotta know that you have ambitions and you're trying to go somewhere. And it didn't really seem like you were very serious about your business.
So how do you were saying like you wanted it to be like some structure? When you mean like, what? Say more about that.
Like, she already didn't have no content posted. As a business person, and you were saying that, what was her name?
Oh, I ain't giving no name.
Okay. But anyway, so the client, she just, if you have business, you're gonna have to get yourself out there. And I understand that she was giving to her family and her friends, and I would want to help her, but based on what she was saying, it's like she was kind of being lazy about it. Like, she wasn't posting none, but you just selling it to your family friends. So how were you doing it? Was she doing it in person? Like, I should have asked her that. Like, what was she doing on the inside? Because I got what she was doing on the digital side, which was nothing. So was she just going around, buy my product? Like, yeah.
So you feel like there would have needed to have been some attempt online?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I wouldn't mind, and I would dibber and dabber, but you having a high value customer, because you not helpless. You're not helpless.
What if she was older?
Okay, I understand that. Older is different.
So how would you? I mean, what would you do differently in that situation then?
I mean, I would understand. Like, if she was older, I'd be like, okay, well, you're older, so I see you need more. But I feel like now, unless it depends on your resources and your circumstances, I would say too. But I wouldn't decline the client, but I would just want you to know more about your business on your end as well. Like, it just like it's like I was pulling teeth, which was that's good on my end, because I need to know the questions to ask you to pull that out of you. But you give them the giver, like I was talking about in the beginning, like the giver and the receiver. You need to know how to more articulate. I know every client isn't like that, and they're not gonna know how to, get out. And I just need to know how to formulate my questions and everything better. But you just need to know where you're going with your business and everything.
What other thoughts did you have?
What did you think about it?
Well, and part of the reason I like that you caught that and said that LinkedIn wasn't the right.
Yeah, I was like, need I remind you, Kayla wanted the role play for it to be LinkedIn, and I'm like, LinkedIn? No, that was not ideal.
Right. So, like, because that's an example of clients not knowing what they need. Like, because that happens, right? You fill out depending on how your business works, people usually fill out a form and they tell you a little bit about what it is they think they're looking for. And so part of the conversation you have with them is to figure out if that's actually what they need. So that was one part of it. But the other part of it is that is really how a lot of this goes. And it doesn't matter how long a person has been in business. And if we're talking about inside a company, right? If you work at a company and y'all have a marketing department and y'all are servicing the other areas of the company, that is often how this goes. There's a level of marketing because everybody experiences it, right? Everybody is marketed to in some sense, that people have some level of familiarity with it. They think they know some things. And then on the other side, they know absolutely nothing, and they know that. And so all of that shows up in conversation. Knowing how to navigate that is key. Now, I think the interesting thing that you brought up was like she wouldn't necessarily be somebody you wanted to work with. And I think for any of y'all who are starting your own businesses or like doing freelance stuff on the side, I think that's really important to know. I also think, though, that those are opportunities to build and test your infrastructure, because you want them to have more structure so that your job is easier, but you aren't able to get the experience you need to back that up. And then for a client who would have the structure, they would have higher expectations of you. So I
would have done it, but it's just gonna cost way more, and I know everybody not gonna want to.
Well, and that's the other thing too. Like, usually when if y'all are interested in starting your own business, that's just what it is, right?
Yeah.
You gonna be doing a whole lot of work for a small amount of money.
I don't know about that with Kayla. A whole lot of work for a small amount.
That's if you start anything from scratch. That is how it goes.
Oh, you talking about on the business?
Yeah, if you are starting
I talking about as the market. I was going to say I'm around. Raise them prices.
If you start a business of any sort, that's what it's like.
Okay.
And if you are entry level at a company, right? Like if you're in the marketing department, they're probably going to be throwing all types of things at you that are outside of the scope of your job that you're going to be expected to carry. And so you have a choice there, right? Do you leave the job, or do you take that opportunity to build up your skills? Because that's typically what happens. Again, there's familiarity with it, so that I think that causes people to kind of almost be dismissive of what we do, like it ain't hard. But then because they also still don't really understand it, they don't realize how valuable it is. So it is it's one of my homegirls, I was talking to her today. She's severely underpaid at her job. She's been doing it just as long as I have at an agency. You know what I'm saying? So but for me, part of this conversation and part of the process that we build is how do we make it easier for us to identify the information we need to move forward, right? Because it's going to be what we want to cut down on is the misunderstanding, right? So nipping it in the bud right now. You actually don't need LinkedIn. You need these other platforms because what you're trying to do, that doesn't make sense. So setting those expectations, making them clear. Again, sussing out what's going on to figure out what all they actually need, letting them know up front, right? If we don't do websites, you going to need a website. Otherwise, this also ain't going to work. But being able to do that in the most efficient route so you're not wasting so much of your time. Because you're going to spend a lot of time on stuff.
And I can't lie, like, how that client was, I'm not going to try to be a scammer and try to get money out of clients. Like, if a client came to me like your client, like you were playing as a client, I would tell you, I don't think your business is ready to launch yet for marketing. So I would send them home with some homework and y'all still pay. But I'm going to send you homework things that you need to figure out. Like, not even knowing if you wanted brand awareness for real or did you just want website track, like things like that. You not knowing that, I would be like, you're not ready for this stage of your business. I need you to go back home, go back to the blueprint and get your how, why, and what the reason why you doing this before you come back to me. Because I could be working with a client that has a lot more ambition than what you offering me that we could be, getting. Because we the marketers. We not, marketing and entrepreneurship work together, but you need to know what you're doing.
And there's a lot of crossover there. But I think what you just said, too, about not wanting to scam people and sending them home is key, because if you are approaching this as a marketer, as a strategist, right, then you can make that determination and do the right thing and send people on. I think what I have seen a lot in the industry is that that's not what happens, because people are typically specialists, right? You are a specialist in making websites. You are a specialist in graphic design. You are, and have decided to try to make that an entire marketing thing, but you only know that particular area. And so you don't know that maybe you shouldn't be on LinkedIn. You should be on Facebook and Instagram. There are people who would take that on and just do exactly what the client said because the client said it, not acknowledging or recognizing essentially what is the power dynamic. The power dynamic is, I am the expert in this area, right? You're not coming to me just for labor to do something you don't have time to do. You're coming to me for knowledge and expertise that I have that you don't have. And so in that, I have a responsibility to educate you, right? But you have to have the education to educate. And so for folks who don't take the time to really build up that knowledge and expertise, you aren't in position to do that. And so you end up working with people, they are dissatisfied. I built an entire business because there were so many small business owners who had been hurt, burned, disappointed, felt like they had been scammed by other marketers because they went to them with an assumption of what they needed, and the folks just did it. And it didn't work.
Like you were saying, like in the moment, if you are specialized in website design or graphic design, don't be trying to give strategy to people and you don't even know what that is, or video or something like that. Like, that don't make no sense. Like, don't be trying to come up with stuff on the end. Like, this is why it's good to have community, because you can know somebody. I think you should go to them, not let me do it so I can get money. And then you still don't know what you're doing. Like, don't do that.
And I mean, it's a little, I think what comes up a lot in those situations is who does the responsibility fall on? Because if you got a website designer who, is talking to somebody and the person ain't telling them exactly what they want, and so they kind of do what they've seen done, they don't necessarily have an understanding of how this plays into the bigger picture. In their mind, that would be on the responsibility of the business owner. But the business owner who would tell you they don't know anything about marketing would be leaning heavily on the website designer.
That's why they need to be educated about what they want in their business.
Well, it's why everybody needs to be educated. And it's not so much about what they want, because they don't always know what they need, right? That part doesn't matter much. I think the real thing is people need to recognize the significance and the importance of paying people for strategy. Now, that is where it gets tricky, because when you don't have a whole lot of resources, you want a tangible return for what you've spent your money on. And for a lot of folks, especially just starting out, an idea or a plan ain't tangible enough to want to spend money on. But what ends up happening is they end up wasting a lot of money over years because you got a website that don't work or don't look good. You get, these, so you spent the same amount of money you could have just invested in a plan with a strategist who could have told you, hey, I think you need to start here. This is what you need to do. I would also say too, from a client marketer perspective, at least in the early conversations, clients don't always need to know all of the details, especially not up front. So like, I think explaining how the content pillars work is a good idea. I think at the moment, going that deep in detail for somebody who really was like, if I really was who I was planning to be, that would have overwhelmed me. And I probably would have felt like it was too much. The other thing too, even though what we do, especially when you start talking content, is going to rely on the clients themselves doing some work, a lot of what, and this is just how I see it, a lot of what people come to us for is increased capacity, right? If they could do it, they maybe would be doing it. And so we try to set our processes up in a way where we aren't putting a load on them or putting the entire load on them, right? That's part of what we suss out in that first conversation. What is your actual capacity? Who can help you? Because if we talk about shooting content, and if we're not there to do it, or you having us come do it ain't in your budget, we got to figure out how we gonna get what we need from you. And so for us, it's like, what are you already doing? I remember not too long ago, we were talking to a client and I'm like, how old is your son? Right? Like, what, straight up, like, you make these things, you never think to hit record. We do need to get you to a place where you think to do it. But before we get there, is there somebody else around you who can help you get in the, send it to us, we'll edit it. But like, there is a participation piece, but it's because these are people. And in our cases, a lot of times, we are working with small business owners. Honestly, even if you're talking internally and you're serving other departments, it's still really sensitive. And so you want to try to navigate it as a person and not like this is my role and responsibility and that's yours type of thing. Like, you kind of got to walk that line delicately, so that, because at the end of the day, for us, especially if they're going to end up being a paying customer, we want to produce good work. Like, my goal has never been to just provide the service that they're asking for. We want to do it well, because I want to be able to stand by anything I've produced. And so for me, it's like, how do we get this to work in a way to where we get everything we need to do the absolute best job we can do, even if it's for selfish reasons, like being able to be proud to put my name on something, again, versus just doing something that a client asked. So yeah, that would probably be my main note. Just, it ain't always necessary to give as much information on the front end, because it can be overwhelming. But I do think, the idea of providing some education is helpful, because it helps build trust, right? If we're talking discovery calls before they've signed on as a client, that is helpful, so that they know, like, okay, I got a partner in this somebody who's not going to take advantage of me, that care about what I'm doing. I think inquiring about the business is good, because that helps build that same trust. Funny enough, some people don't do that. Like, some people don't ask about the business. They treat it like almost like a conveyor belt service type of thing. What do you want? How many pages do you want on the website? Or like, if we're talking LinkedIn, how often do you want to post? Like, they won't do the digging, because again,
you gotta dig.
You got to have the expertise to know what you're looking for. Right. And so all of those things are necessary for you to be able to do the work, but also they work with the client. They're a show of good faith. And I think I talk a lot behind the scenes with our young creators about like things that they can do to kind of stand out from other creators. That is one of them. Just good customer service. Coming up in this business, I've gotten so many referrals from people who only went as far as a discovery call with me. And it may have been that at the end of it, I recommended you aren't ready for this right now, or I'm not the provider for it. We'll make referrals. And I'm like, how are you referring clients to me? You never got to work with me. But something as simple as, you asked me about my business. Right. And I may ask questions to your point about like, so how are you different from other, or maybe you should sell to other, like all of that is insight, I think, that maybe comes more naturally to us, but that's not how everybody thinks, and they definitely don't share it. So it's like, oh, I could be now I can go back home and I might think, well, maybe I do want to sell to business. I didn't think about that. And then when I get to a place where I'm ready to do it, now I'm thinking about who I talked to about about doing it. So I feel like it was a good conversation. Yeah. I'm glad you ain't, cuss me out, because you look like you were kind of heated.
No, I was just listening to it. I was opening my ears, because you had that little accent going. I was like, oh my goodness. But I feel like individuality is very important. And that comes to when you create content, because a lot of people try to make content like everybody else, and you don't want to make content like everybody else, because what's unique about you? So you got to always create content that's going to be relatable to your audience and to who you are as a person, because you gonna get tired of faking being somebody else, and then you're gonna be, and if say your content do blow up or your business does blow up, then you're gonna be like, well, I'm not being my authentic self and I don't like doing this no more. And then that's when burnout comes and things like that come along. So knowing how you differentiate from your competitors, and there's nothing wrong with getting inspiration from your competitors as long as you're not doing what they're doing verbatim. It's, yeah, you don't want to do that, because be your own person, be your own business. So,
So if you're in marketing, whether you are a freelancer, you know what I'm saying, doing your own thing, whether you are in a department at a company, there is a level of education that you're almost always going to have to do with the people you're working with. Again, even inside of a company, like I've been in the marketing department at a company trying to explain to leadership why we need certain things, like why we need to put an emphasis on digital. That's part of the industry. I haven't seen a person or known of a person who hasn't had that bit of struggle or fight when it comes to doing this work. And that's, again, whether you are internal at a company trying to convince leadership that there needs to be more investment in this area, or just trying to explain to them how it works, right? Like they may send you have a request for, we need a flyer. First of all, the word flyer triggers me, because what are you actually putting this on a pole outside? No, you don't need a flyer, but it's stuff like that, people just don't understand, having to deal with that language barrier. Is like they're asking you for something, but that don't sound right. So now I got to keep digging and prying to see what you actually need. It's like, oh, you need a social media graphic. Got it. Don't say flyer. That's just part of the job. So if that's something you feel like you're struggling with and it's getting on your nerves, just know that it come with it. So the best you can do is figure out how to ask the right questions earlier on to be able to get what you need, so that you're not dealing with that. And then you're not dealing with the back and forth after the fact, right? Because if you tell me, just with the example we gave was like, say somebody who wanted a website and they just did the website. If you tell me you want a flyer and I just send you a flyer and I didn't pry about what it was and it turned out you actually needed a banner, now I got an attitude because I done spent all that time doing the flyer, and you got an attitude because I sent you something that wasn't right. And I'm like, well, I did what you said, and you like you... Take on the onus and the responsibility to get clarity first, figure out what's going on so that you can do your best job. Yeah, if you just approach it from anything I make, I want to be able to put my name on proudly, I think that'll help guide, how you approach the work. But yeah, I think it was good. But
I think you should never also like be prideful either. Like your intentions as a marketer should not be, are you saying like the customer saying I want to put my name on it, or the...
No, I mean like as a marketer. So like, because a lot of times it is tiring. It takes a lot of energy to stay engaged with people who don't seem like they know what they're doing and know what they want. So a lot of times people will just give in. And so they will just do whatever the client asks for, even if it's not in the best interest of what they want. So what I'm saying is, if you remain dedicated to always wanting to be proud of what you've done, that's going to give you a different perspective in terms of how you approach your work. Okay. So I'm not just doing what other people tell me. I want this to be good, and I want to be able to put it in my portfolio. I want to be able to show results. I want to be able to demonstrate my actual abilities. So I'm going to go, whether that means I'm going the extra mile to get the information I need or the understanding I need to be able to do a great job.
And then also helping the client become the best person that they can be. I
mean, that's essentially what it is, right? Your goal is for whatever you've done to bring results. The results are in the benefit of the client. But I know from personal experience, it is so easy to be like, well, if the client don't care, neither do I. Right? If you don't care about your business, if you don't care about seeing these results, the ones we know you can see, neither do I.
Right.
But you can't ever give in like that, right? If you feel like you're getting to a point, a couple of things are going on, you likely ain't charging enough. Period. If you get to a point where a client is absolutely on your nerves, you're not charging enough. Because there's a number you can ask for where you would be willing to put up with whatever. And you just got to figure out what the number is. But that's one indicator. And then the other thing is that you probably don't have the systems in place, right? You don't have the right questions. You don't gather the right information in the beginning. I feel like for us, that the onus is on us to do that work because we're dealing with people who don't know what we doing,
But I think also having a love and passion for what you do. That's why you should always have a love and passion for what you do, because it's going to be days where you don't want to do it. But that passion for it is going to drive you to, okay, I love doing this. Even though I'm not feeling it today, I'm going to keep going. And I know my end goal and, things like that. So
yeah, I mean, people have different motivations. Yeah. Like for me, it's not necessarily, I mean, I do love this, but it's not my love of this. It's my love of people being able to actualize their visions.
That's your why.
So
you have a core.
Right. And so for me, it's like, this brand really could blow up. Right. Not only could it blow up, but this service that you're offering is absolutely needed. Like, so for me, it's the idea that we can get more people in there. What I'm doing is just a pathway to that, but that's my reason. So yeah, that is what would allow me to keep pushing through the work, keep pushing through the conversations, keep refiguring out the process to get to the bottom line, because I feel like what you are doing as the client is important enough. It needs to be out here in the world. We got to make sure this happens. But yeah, so everybody, you figure out what your root is, if that's how you work, that is, or if just the love of what you are actually doing specifically is it. But you got to get grounded in something other than,
I just want this bag.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't just go chase the bag, because the bag gonna end you in the grave. And that's where that fast money coming in, and you just gonna want to do, and then that's gonna end up with cheap results, just trying to chase the bag. Like, try to do things out of not just wanting the money. Like, imagine you doing something and you wasn't getting money for it. That's how you know what you really love to do.
And take time to perfect your craft. I think that's one of my concerns about the younger creators, but also why we created Launch Point Creative. I understand like this desire to be an entrepreneur because it looked very sexy, but it ain't. But also like when I hear young folks say, I've started a business doing X, Y, and Z, but you a sophomore in college and you don't even have a degree yet in the thing you started a business in. I'm like, what? You can't just wait. You can't just wait to get more knowledge and expertise behind you before you, like, you should probably go work somewhere else first before you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all, you can take time to perfect your life. Is long for if you're here, the 70 like we promised, life is long. You can grow and develop. Like, you can have that aspiration, that's fine, but like, take time to perfect the craft before you just jump into the expert chair, because that is how what we just talked about, a lot of that stuff happens, right? You the expert, even if you're talking pride and ego, yeah, I'm the one who know all this, but you actually don't know all of the things, and then you end up hurting folks because they relied on you and your expertise, and you didn't have all of it, and they didn't know you didn't have all of it, and now they're dealing with the rep. Because I mean, as a business owner myself, I've dealt with that with other vendors. It's just, we could just spend a little bit more time, y'all. Just a little. I know we live in a really fast-paced world. Don't nobody want to read books no more, but read the book. Like, read the books that the people on the podcast reference. Don't just listen to the podcast. Like, back in the day, we said, do your research. Like, you know what I'm saying? Put in some actual hours. That idea, I can't remember which of the thought leaders used to talk about the 10,000 hour rule, but like, my homeboy Elijah says, you got to do your reps. You got to do your reps. Like, you can't just get out here and decide that you are, you know what I'm saying, end all be all, and you ain't, you know what I'm saying, taking the time to like really learn the game, which is why I was saying, like, with a client, like how I was portraying, those are the ones you want to take early on, because that's how you learn. That's how you learn. That's why we started Launch Point Creative, so that you aren't in that position like I was, where you were also having to feed yourself. Like, it's a safe environment, but you in the fire, because that's how you put to test, to use the things you've learned. That's how you start to infuse your common sense, like what you know about human beings, to figure out what actually works for you. Like, yeah, it's necessary, but so we working on it, y'all.
And always, like, you don't always have to win in public. Like, if you gonna always win and display your wins, that means you gonna have to lose in public too. So having private wins and, like you said, getting that learning and your skills under control, and what's the word?
The reps. Which time?
Yeah, the reps.
Yeah.
Getting the reps in. That's gonna help. And then, like, because like you said, fast paced. Everybody, social media, everybody see everybody doing everything all the time. So they're like, oh, I need to pop out these results as well. But yeah. But back to your client though, I think that she could have came up with some great content though, because she had
for sure. Like, when I
would have been so funny
when I was playing with the idea. I was like, I might need to do this for real though, because like, that's a good. And I just like, I mean, I don't know. I guess if y'all see it and you take it, you get to it before I do, whatever. But like, no. But the idea that there is a hair care brand that leans into the nostalgia of the 90s with getting your scalp greased and just kind of anti all of the new stuff, I feel like it could pop off. And then the nostalgic content.
Yeah. But she just needed a little bit more job. But it's okay. We gonna get.
Let me get some extra bread and some extra time.
Okay.
We're not gonna call it Blue Magic. We might.
Okay.
That
was given very much, especially how you spell it, very much ghetto. How did you spell that?
LEWMA.
I don't mean to be just throwing around the ghetto word. I was like,
Okay.
Why are you?
I think it's genius. If you ask me.
Okay.
If you ask me.
Okay. I feel like we should actually go find a client and do a case study on her and see if she blow up off her hair products.
Or not even go find one in case study. Like, I was just thinking I might like spoof it. Like, I might put together an entire product line like that. And because we know that stuff can go viral on social media without, you know what I'm saying? And just see what I don't know, bro. I feel like it'll catch on. I'm telling you, that story I said about somebody asked me about my hair, that's not them facts. That happened yesterday. Okay. A girl was like, how you? And I saw it in her eyes, and I'm thinking, yeah, you missed the good old days, don't you? When it was just simple. I know, sis. Now, and if, in that moment, if I had a hair care product and would have told her on some, they lied to us, sis. They were right to try to get us to stop using relaxers, but they took it too far, and they basically told us everything we had ever been doing was wrong. But girl, you not crazy. Your hair does feel different than it used to. Your hair would have been this long if your mama didn't put a perm in it when you was 5. Yes, you right. Matter of fact, I got stuff for you. She would have bought it, I'm telling you.
Let's put the nostalgic.
She just don't know.
To the end.
Did you ever grease your grandmama's scalp?
Huh? I got my scalp grease.
I used to use your grandmama's scalp.
I used to do my grandma's
do grow. You never.
I forgot what products I use, but that's enough of this imaginary hair.
If y'all know the products I'm talking about, leave a comment. Leave the little the hand heart emoji in the comments. If you remember the Do Grow and the Blue Magic and the pink hair lotion,
I don't remember it.
If y'all remember using that stuff in the good old days, just, you know what I'm saying, leave a little.
I'm hollering.
Yeah. Well, any final thoughts, takeaways before we get up out there?
Just know how to listen to learn, and articulate your words. Yeah. What was just going on? Okay.
I was thinking that, like, hear no evil, see no evil, do no, but you know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what you was doing.
Anyway,
but
we appreciate y'all for listening. Hopefully this was helpful and insightful. Tell us what you think.
Wait, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Stay tuned. In a couple episodes, we're going to have guests. Whoop, whoop. I've been telling Kayla to do this for mad long, and she finally giving in. I think y'all are going to love us having guests. It's going to be great.